Yada, yada, yada. Welcome, everybody. And my camera system is all messed up. Welcome to another undershirt, episode of The Flawed Man of God. I am your host, Stuart Davis, a flawed man of God. Streaming to you just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I am a humble parishioner from a church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor, not a biblical scholar, and I haven't been to seminary. Not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, and give you my perspective on them. One that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. I've been a Christian all my life, non-denominational Protestant. I don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the word. See, look, I need to just get a fixed stand there. Just in the word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right. Many times I'll get it wrong. But no matter what, hopefully it will be better than my camera positioning. No matter what, if you catch me streaming, if you're listening to what I have to say, you'll be getting my honest takes and opinion on whatever it is we're discussing. So if you are somebody who is interested in learning more about Jesus, and maybe you're just new to Christianity, or you're just seeking answers, and you think that maybe this is where you need to be, but you don't understand why faith is so important, why we worship Jesus. Well, I'm here to tell you, you are where you need to be. And we will talk about the whys of Christianity if you tune in. If you're not interested in getting and learning more about Jesus, learning more about God and the Holy Spirit, from social media influencer, or just kind of reading stuff online, and maybe you don't feel comfortable getting your information from a pastor, though they are the professionals, but sometimes you're not looking for that. Maybe that's not what's going to resonate with you. Maybe you want to hear it from somebody who has been listening to it for some time. The guy sitting in the pew next to you who can say, look, I've been doing this for a while, and this is what I've been able to pick up, and this is what I can share with you, and this is why this is important. This is the stream. We're very casual, very very relaxed, informal setting, and would love for you to pull up a chair, tune in, subscribe, like and subscribe, continue to come back, excuse me, and learn about what we learn more about what we're all about. And hopefully that'll set you on a path towards salvation and a relationship with God. If you are already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and discussions, welcome as well. You'll like this. Excuse me. In that a minute. You'll see we run this very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. Again, very relaxed, informal. It's all about talking to each other, discussing the word, talking to each other, hearing what each of us has to say. And with having said that, no matter where you are in your life, in your faith, whether you are just looking for answers or you have been a Christian longer than me and are more mature in your faith, get in the chat. That's the place to be. That's the place to be. We've got a great group of folks who tune in and night out, and we'd love for you to be one of them. And as they start piling in, maybe you can share what you have to say. Share your opinion. What is on your mind? What do you agree with what I'm talking about? What do you disagree with? Where am I right? Where am I wrong? Maybe you have an interesting perspective. Maybe you've got an experience or some sort of insight, and whatever it is we're talking about, I'd like to hear it. Share your opinion. Be part of the chat. The chat makes this show better. I talk about it every episode. And while I am blessed with the folks I got who do tune in, I'm always looking for more. Kind of like Solomon and his wives. Not saying that I'm married to any of these folks or interested in them becoming concubines, but always looking. Oh, always got my eye out for more viewers. this is a grift for souls, and I would love for you guys to make this a regular place. And with that said, let's get into the show. A little unprepared. I was actually I knew I wasn't running behind because I'd lost track of time. What it was is not far from here. Me and my wife, we had a late dinner. We had gotten some we had got some Mexican food delivered from one of the local Mexican restaurants. So I have approximately 40 to 50 minutes before it runs through me and I have to end the stream for personal reasons. No, it's but we were sitting there watching some Grand Tour and just enjoying time together. Um, she is a very busy lady with the goings on in our family, as am I, and so it's always good to have time to sit down and enjoy some television. And if it's something like Grand Tour, something we could both share a bunch of laughs about, and I can teach her more about cars, and she can learn about them, and it's just a great thing that we enjoy to do. Find common ground with your significant other, and make sure try to be intentional about that time. So that's some advice from me. How is everybody doing this evening? I'm doing good. I am full. I have a full stomach. Dude, I don't know about you guys. When I go to a Mexican restaurant, I eat till I'm about to burst. And I am full till mid-morning the next day. If I eat it for lunch, I'm full bit till mid-morning next day. Same way when I get uh Chinese food. I will eat enough sweet and sour chicken and pork fried rice to put put myself into hibernation. So, but hopefully you guys are doing well on this Tuesday. And that's why I'm not as prepared, even though I knew the time was there and I'd set up. Food was getting here right when I was getting everything set up. But I was like, yeah, I'm not going upstairs to change. I'll just do another undershirt episode and such. So Dresden's here. How's it go? Whoop. Here we go. Dresden. Alex Moore. All right. That means it's time for pre-work chores. 3 streams up tonight. Hi, Stu in chat. Look, this is the stream tonight. Right. Then you can go to the after party, which is Blaine's stream, which maybe he's doing tonight. I know he had a birthday. His lady had a birthday yesterday, so good for her. Good for her. Jenny ELJ is here. You made it just in time. And Thad demands sigh. Got into a Twitter fight who was hoping with someone, I'm assuming, who was hoping that Biden would send troops to Texas, telling him how it would hurt the whole country badly. I have been a troop at the border. We did some training there before going over to Big Sandbox. It would be, I think, personal opinion, just from my experience, which is very limited and very out of date because it was almost 20 years ago. It was almost 20 years ago. But I think the most effective way to close that border is to put troops in there. Now, that's a bit there that raises a bigger question. That is a solution, but does that how does that go over with the country? And are we there where we can? Are we in a place where we realize that's the you want to send troops against the Texas National Guard? Oh, Yeah, not I was talking about closing the border. I'm not talking about that is how wars start. And that's not yeah, that's dumb. That's dumb. And I don't think we've got a I don't think we have a president who's strong enough to handle that anyway. But you know, just keep shipping them off to Martha's Vineyard, I guess. People got to wake up. Look, nothing against trying to help other countries. There's nothing against letting letting people in an organized and um, reasonable fashion. But can't be the way that it comes over now. And it's dangerous. And a lot of people think that it's just, you think of the what the news shows you, and it's just um, women and children and young fathers just trying to make a living, just trying to be part of the American dream. And you don't realize the amount of human trafficking, drug trafficking, weapons trafficking that goes on the border to and from. A porous border is not a good thing for a nation to have. And and then these old so um the old saying, fences make good neighbors. So yeah, that's a Twitter fights aren't fun, and there's a lot of idiots on Twitter. I get sucked into them from time to time. Luckily, for the most part now, it's usually just not always, usually just me arguing about the Reds, the Cincinnati Reds, and whether they're doing the right thing in the offseason or if you're me doing the wrong talking about how they're doing the wrong things in the offseason. Um, Venting my frustrations out, that's fine. But then there's other ones out there. So Twitter or any type of social media argument, sorry you got into it. I know if you don't feel bad after one, like feel like, man, I'm stupid. Why did I get into that argument in the first place? You probably need to reevaluate some things in your life um, because they are dumb. You're arguing with a total stranger. Oftentimes, they are quite ignorant about what they're talking about, and they're not going to listen to you. You're not changing anybody's mind. You're not changing their mind. People are just going to take sides before they even start scrolling. Maybe there's a psalm for that. Nico's here. How's it going, sir? I said I was listening to the stream. I was listening to yesterday's stream, and just want to say it's not just you, Stuart. Most psalms fly over my head too. Lol. Yeah. I mean, I get good impressions out of it, and I think that there's stuff where you can read it and you're like, I know what. I think I get what I'm taking away from this. Yeah. Dad said, "Oh, all the Packers fans saying that Love is the next GOAT after Rodgers. At least I'm learning to block them." Yeah. Look, he's had a good run. I think maybe he's got a very very smart coordinator. Who knows? Who knows? It's a pass heavy league, and so it's no surprise to me that there's a lot of quarterbacks out there putting up big numbers and taking advantage of that. I mean, they've grown up. Now what we're seeing now is a generation of quarterbacks coming in who have grown up learning learning in this system where all you do is take advantage of a very offensive heavy uh, league. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So let's talk about them Psalms. Hang on. Ooh, some spicy Texas food. I realized today when I was doing the numbers, tomorrow night's episode, if I do one tomorrow, which I'm planning to, if we have an episode tomorrow night, will be the 250th stream I've done reading the Bible. A quarter of the way to 1,000. I'm very interested to see how many episodes will be necessary to finish the Bible if we're doing them approximately 2 chapters at a time. I'm sure there's a lot. How many chapters in the Bible? There are 31,102 verses in the Bible. I don't know. I don't think we'll get to 1,000. I don't think it's going to take 1,000. It's going to take 1,000 episodes. So, thank you, Thad. Thanks, Jenny. Steve says, "Is this an everyday thing?" So the way the schedule runs is Monday through Thursday. Generally, I stream, and I've been going pretty consistently Monday through Thursday the last few weeks. I went off on sabbatical around the time that you were hanging out with us. I took a 2-week break, Steve, where I wasn't streaming, but I have been streaming the Bible. I am streaming the Bible from cover to cover in order, doing the Bible in order and reading through it. So we're through a lot of the Old Testament narrative. We're in more the poetry and wisdom sections of the Bible, and then we'll be getting back into some of the narrative with Daniel, Jonah, some of that, and then into the prophecies. Then from the prophecies, you roll right in, you roll right into the gospel. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes to finish this. But we've been doing it since 2002 or 2022. No, wait, hang on. How long have I been doing the live streams? 357 total live streams, by the way, guys. It sent me to the first page. Oh, it took me to the last page. Hold on. Sorry, the camera blocks my view. Wait, no, I'll just go to first. Hang on. I'll do it this way. November 4th, 2021 was my first live stream. Started doing Genesis 1. Doing Genesis 1. So we're really now, it's about 2 years and a couple of months into it now. Don't break my brain. Yeah. Emmanuel, we haven't gotten started yet. We're just in the intro phase, so been doing pretty good. We need our sports stream too. Baseball's right around the corner. I'll be doing my fantasy baseball draft on here. Steve says, I've read the Bible in a year. I just saw y'all on here. Yeah. And that's kind of what I did. So But I think after having done it a couple of times, doing it the first time really doing it that way adds so much context to a lot of the scripture that you study that you understand why it's kind of a good idea to do it at least or at least every once in a while as a reminder. It's a book Bible's obviously a book you need to pick up and read more often. Unfortunately, I haven't read the Bible as much as I've read Jack Ryan novels. It's a little bit longer read. It's a little bit different. There is no Leviticus or numbers that you have to trudge through, but obviously it's way more important of a lesson. Sorry, I'm gonna be a little bit slower. You made me think. Stop making me think. Said you've been doing it since at least 2021 when you went on the show with Nick. That was actually 22. That was May of 22. That was May of 22. I thought for some reason I thought you came in on the show last year, around this time last year, with after the Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't know why. Because you're right. You have been a viewer for longer than that. So the manual said, I remember the day well. I was playing Halo, studying for my CDO. You could do 2 things at once or 3 things at once. Alias made it. Hey, excellent. So again, guys, right before we start talking about Psalms or the Psalms, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. I know pretty much everybody in the chat has. Anybody who's listening, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get a notification when I'm streaming. It's normally every night, Monday through Thursday, around 8:35 Eastern time. We have a blast. Love to have you here. That's the big thing. After we're done reading the Bible, we'll get into the Apocrypha, talk about that, maybe do some stuff along with the long lines of that, and go from there. That said, Bible is a tougher slog. It is. I also check out other stuff like John Lennox and Frank Turek. I don't know who they are. Thad says, sadly, Rittenhouse is getting more mentions in Twitter because of Baldwin. Well, Rittenhouse is acquitted. Rittenhouse was innocent. Baldwin isn't. So perhaps we'll end up with a different ending on that one, a different jury finding, because recklessness with a firearm, that had nothing to do with self-defense. That had a lot to do with recklessness with a firearm that lots of people were involved in, but nobody wanted to take responsibility for it. They wanted to scapegoat somebody. All right. Okay. Like I said, I've only got a minute. I've got a limited time to stream because I just ate Mexican food. So we're going to get into it now. 65. Matt Felty, what's going on, sir? Let's get into the show proper and bring up the word. Alex trying to move the show along like a good listener. He does that on Blame. So it's like, are we doing the anime reviews yet? Because that's what I'm here for. Steve's glad I'm in Michigan. Felty just in time for TMI. It's okay. I'm not being graphic. I'm just telling you, I ate some Mexican food. I'm going to need some time. Fiery, it's going to be spicy. Let's see. Praise to God for his salvation and providence. That's not very spicy. At least doesn't seem like that. To the chief museum, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, a song. Praise is awaiting you, O God in Zion, and you, the vow, shall be performed. O you who hear prayer, to you all flesh will come. Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, you will provide atonement for them. Blessed is the man you chose and caused to approach you, that he may dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house, of your holy temple. By awesome deeds and righteousness, you will answer us, O God of our salvation, you who are all the confidence of all the ends of the earth and of the far off seas, who established the mountains by his strength, being clothed with power. You who still the noise of the seas, the noise of their waves, and the tumult of the peoples. They also who dwell in the farthest parts are afraid of your signs. You make the outgoings of the morning and evening rejoice. You visit the earth and water it. You greatly enrich it. The river of God is full of water. You provide their grain. For so you have prepared it. You water its ridges abundantly. You settle its furrows. You make it soft with showers. You bless its growth. You crown the year with your goodness, and your paths drip with abundance. They drop on the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. The pastures are clothed with flocks. The valleys also are covered with grain. They shout for joy. They also sing. This does sound kind of like a song. This sounds a little cheerful. So no fire, not a fiery reading so far, Thad. Though that would have been hilarious. It's funny how sometimes the chapters I read line up with a way I'm feeling or something like that. But here we go. We're talking about praising God, salvation and providence. Sounds a whole lot more like providence than salvation here. But you tell me where you see it. You tell me where I'm right or wrong. Praise is awaiting you, O God, in Zion, and to you the vow shall be performed. God, we have so much to be thankful for. A little bit, and David always heavy on the praise, rightfully so. Well done, man. Um, but not a little bit more of him off his normal structure. But again, we have so much to thank you for. And if you ever show up and manifest yourself before us, we will make sure that we put on quite a show of praise for you. O you who hear prayer, to you all flesh will come. Iniquities prevail against me. As for our transgressions, you will provide atonement for them. There's the salvation right there. To you all flesh will come. We will all answer to him at some point. Iniquities prevail against me. My issues, my own shortcomings and flaws, uh, they overcome me, and my transgressions, you will provide atonement for them. So you are providing salvation for me. Very much, very Christ-like um, imagery there. What's going on, text in Italian? Welcome to the stream. Blessed is the man that you choose and cause to approach you, that he may dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house, of your holy temple. Matt Felty says, "Have you ever seen David's Garden overlooking Jerusalem? Definitely a place to chill and write psalms like this." No, sounds like a pretty cool place. I mean, I figure he probably has a spot when he writes some of this stuff. He really does a good job capturing the level of a level of appreciation that we all kind of strive for. But here he's like, "Blessed is the man you choose and cause to approach you." This is a very sounds a little Calvinistic here. Sounds a little bit of predestination in this thing where he goes, "You choose and cause to approach you." So God picks out and pulls apart. That might be him setting him aside for special tasks or something like that. And he may dwell in your courts. We shall be satisfied with the goodness of your house, of your holy temple. We will be happy with whatever you decide for us. By awesome deeds and righteousness you will answer us, O God of our salvation. Who are the confidence of all the ends of the earth and of the far off seas, who established the mountains by his strength, being clothed with power. You who still the noise of the seas, the noise of their waves, and the tumult of the peoples. They also who dwell in the farthest parts are afraid of your signs. You make the outgoings of the morning and evening rejoice. A couple of things tidbits I pulled out of this. First off, it sounds like, from sea to shining sea here on the beginning parts. Look, God, you are glorious not just here in this city. You're glorious everywhere. You've created all these things. To the ends of the earth. You are in control. You are the shining force behind all of it. And then just some imagery behind that, the mountains, the seas, the waves. The part at the end was interesting. They who dwell in the farthest parts are afraid of your signs. You think of places like of the Americas, or maybe in some other locations where folks have had a more primitive outlook on gods. They had multiple gods, and they took signs as or things that went on as signs whether God was pleased or displeased on them, or what they should do. It kind of feels like that. It's like there are people out there who don't know you, don't know of you, but still feel the repercussions of the things that you decide, and are scared of what you do. Even though they don't know you, they manifest some understanding of God, or gods in most parts. You visit the earth and water it. You greatly enrich it. The river of God is full of water. You provide their grain, for so you have prepared it. You water its ridges abundantly. You settle its furrows. You make it soft with showers. You bless its growth. The caretaker of the earth, looking over the planet, um, being basically creating that cycle of death and rebirth, flowering. The cycle that we know. This is a very. I think we've covered a couple of psalms like this before, where it's like the cycle of life in the wild, in nature, is one of the most powerful things to witness, um, or one of the most beautiful things to witness of God's power. It's awe-inspiring because it's not just beautiful; it's also terrifying. Just how big this creation that God has given us, and how intricate it is, how much thought and detail went into everything, every little minute thing you can think of. You crown the year with your goodness, and your paths drip with abundance. They drop on the pastures of the wilderness, and the little hills rejoice on every side. It sounds like it's just very, very. It sounds like something out of a kid's song. The little hills rejoice on every side. The pastures are clothed with flocks. The valleys also are covered with grain. They shout for joy. They also sing. Everything knows its place, except for us, it seems. we we who have eaten of the tree of the tree of knowledge, the fruit of the tree of knowledge, we seem to have lost our understanding of where we belong. We doubt, we interfere, we do a lot of things that kind of put us at odds with how everything else goes. But again, the beauty, and we've talked about this before, the beauty and intricacy of nature. If you want evidence of God, you only have to look out your window. If you don't live in the city, if you live in the city, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't live there. I never felt comfortable in the city. But if you live in the suburbs, or if you live in the country like me, just look out your window. Just 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 take it all in. If you don't do it, the appreciation is there of everything that goes on around you. Nunath is singing it, the circle of life. That's about as new at Disney as I can appreciate. Steve Hawley says maybe something along the line of being afraid of things like earthquakes, storms, or volcanoes. Exactly what I was thinking, Steve. Um, these things happen, and these are acts of God. I mean, we even talk about that now in insurance purposes, like things that, great things that happen to property damage and everything. It's even in legal terminology, acts of God. It's our free will. And unfortunately, humans pervert everything. Things for us to work on. That's a good one. That's a good psalm. That's just a nice feel good psalm. Oh, we're gonna follow it up with praise to God for his awesome works. What a great order on this, because this is it follows it up pretty nicely. So we'll be staying on that theme. To the chief musician, a song, a psalm, a doe, a deer, female deer, whatever. Make a joyful shout to God, all the earth. Sing out the honor of his name. Make his praise glorious. Say to God, how awesome are your works! Through the greatness of your power, your enemies shall submit themselves to you. All the earth shall worship you and sing praises to you. They shall sing praises to your name. Selah. Come and see the works of God. He is awesome in his doing toward the sons of men. He turned the sea into dry land. They went through the river on foot. There we will rejoice in him. He rules by his power forever. His eyes observe the nations. Do not let the rebellious exalt themselves. Selah. Oh, bless our God, you peoples, and make the voice of his praise be heard, who keeps our soul among the living and does not allow our feet to be moved. For you, O God, have tested us. You have refined us as silver is refined. You brought us into the net. You laid affliction on our backs. You have caused men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but you brought us out to rich fulfillment. I will go into your house with burnt offerings, barbecue. I will pay you my vows, which my lips have uttered, and my mouth has spoken when I was in trouble. I will offer you burnt sacrifices of fat animals with the sweet aroma of rams. I will offer bulls with goats. Come in here, all you who fear God, and I will declare what he has done for my soul. I cried to him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue. If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear. But certainly God has heard me. He has attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God, who has not turned away my prayer, nor his mercy from me. Steve says, we have it at Ford like when weather is really bad and less than a quarter of the employees show up. Act of God. No snow up here or down here, Steve. It sucks. Get like a little bit. A little bit. And my buddy's sitting there going, nah, this is good. This is why I moved away from Michigan. To get away from this. And then I'm sitting there going, man, I want like a foot of snow. It's been a while since we've had one. Been a while. All right, this starts off great. I mean, again, this is a psalm with a lot of positivity and gratitude and thankfulness and praise. This is a good attitude for us to have when we're not going through really difficult times. This is a great attitude to have generally. When something stupid happens, something petty that's kind of rubbing you the wrong way, a psalm like this is good to read and then go, remember, oh, that's right. I live an incredibly blessed life. Things are great for me. Things are great. Me, in particular, it's good for me. Something doesn't happen right. Um, I get some news that's not great. Something doesn't go my way. The Cincinnati Reds can't figure out how to run their team correctly. Something like that kind of bothers me. Somebody on the internet says something wrong, and I feel the need to argue with them about it. If something like that goes on, you read something like this, and it's like, dude, what am I upset about? I have an incredibly charmed life, and it's all because of the Lord and the blessings that He has given me. The just how He started me along the path, and all the ways He's interceded and put Himself in with little signs and little things to remind me that He's there. He's got my back and set me back on course so that I can enjoy the peace of mind that I have now and the things that I can be thankful for now. It's amazing. And Psalms like this one and the Psalm before 65 and 66, perfect examples of the correct attitude to have. God, I cannot sing to you. I'm terrible voice, but if I could, I would sing. I would sing for you and talk about how great and lovely everything is, even with the obstacles, even with the bad news, even with the frustrations. You've blessed me more than I'll ever deserve. And I don't have any way of repaying you other than by being thankful. That's the thing. God knows you don't have anything any other way to repay Him. Being thankful goes a long way. Also, being obedient. I'm going to listen to what you say because I'm thankful for the things you've done, and you giving me guidance is another blessing. Here's a manual. It's not always easy to read, and there's things about it you might not agree with, but let me tell you, kids, what I'm handing you with scripture is what you need to navigate life and to go there for comfort and to understand that I'm here for you. I'm a prayer away. Not even that. In the here and now. I've never left. We'll call it a comeback. Been here all along, right? It's amazing the things that we've been blessed with. All we have to do is listen, take it to heart, and obey. Be thankful, and buy in, and just be part of what He has designed for us. Thad says, no gifts have we to offer, but that you find desires our humble, thankful hearts. Good one. Good quote. Steve with an amen and a pray. I mean, simple. Simple. I mean, we talk about a lot of the keep it simple, stupid way of going back to this is, we talk and there's a lot of flowery words and Psalms, and I get on these rants and discussions about the things that we talk about, but it comes down, you can boil a lot of this stuff down to faith, love, obedience, humility. They're simple concepts, hard to follow through on. We're broken people. Hard to follow through on, not tough to understand. Maybe tough to comprehend. How am I going to do this? And anybody who's battled with addiction knows exactly how that feels. Oh, wait. We are all battling with addiction. We're addicted to sin. Emmanuel says it's always our tendency to rebel from God, and we get backhanded. Get yourself back in line. It's like my mom beat me in the beat me in the grocery store, the supermarket aisle, like I was in a Boondocks episode. Example: Israel during Chronicles, good king, then bad king, then good king, then bad, up and down again. Yeah. Well, even better than that, because that was just a lot of that was um Israel just went to bad from from Solomon to bad kings. Judah went good king, a couple of good kings, a few bad kings, and a couple of good king here and then a bad king there. The best example is go back a little bit further back than that is Judges. Go to Judges. And here's your promised land. Here's Joshua and his generation. They do great. They witnessed firsthand as kids, Utes, as Utes out there, the escape, the fleeing from Egypt, the escape through the Red Sea. I'm sorry, Passover and the plagues, leaving Egypt and parting the Red Sea, the pillar of fire in the sky, manna from heaven, all the Mount Sinai. They lived through all of that as kids, and they were raised knowing firsthand exactly what God was talking about when he's saying, "Remember the things I've done for you." They were there. Great group, greatest generation, right? As soon as they're all dead, whoop, go back to what you're talking about. Tendency to rebel. They rebel. And so God goes, okay, punishment time. And God doesn't go after them. God simply pulls back and lets the bad things in that he was protecting them from. And they're like, oh, we're sorry, God, please save us. Ah! And he's like, oh, okay. All right. I'm going to lift somebody up to lead you guys back to me. And it happens. Things are good. The generation, we get another great generation. And then rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat. You're right, Emmanuel. It's always our tendency. It's our curse, it seems like. We feel like we're forced to. Are we really, or are we just weak? Faith aside from mustard seed. Right? How did I start rereading that? I'm gonna do this anyway. Make a joyful shout to God, all the earth. Sing out the honor of his name. Make his praise glorious. Say to God, how awesome are your works. Through the greatness of your power, your enemies shall submit themselves to you. All the earth shall worship you and sing praises to you. They shall sing praises to your name. Selah. Selah. Very much some of the things we were just talking about. The awesomeness of all the things he's done. Putting into as examples. And I think he actually talks about it later on in the next series of verses. Turn the sea into dry land. We're talking about some of the miracles that they have seen, that their people have witnessed as part of their journey to this promised land that they're currently in. That David's not, David's just after Judges, basically, because you got the period of you got Joshua, then you got the period of Judges, and then you have, oh, we need a king, and then Saul, and then right after Saul is David. Many great acts, defeat or great victories won, the Ark of the Covenant being built and being in his presence. That level of awesomeness. It's not just an Indiana Jones. It's not just a climax in an Indiana Jones movie. And they shall sing praises to your name. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? Well, Steve says it's we selfish. Yeah, basically. Selfish and full of ourselves, selfish and conceited. Selfish that we want want everything. We feel like everything's owed to us. Conceited in the fact that we we think it's owed to us, right? They go hand in hand. It's amazing how that pride thing works. And Emmanuel, when will you learn that your actions have consequences? Yeah, well, I'm not always good at learning that lesson. Come and see the works of God. He is awesome in his doings toward the sons of men. He turned the sea into dry land. They went through the river on foot. There we will rejoice in him. He rules by his power forever. His eyes observe the nations. Do not let the rebellious exalt themselves. Selah. Vaguely remember that meme, Emmanuel. I remember the text, bottom text. I can't remember the format. Um, Come and see. And again, we were talking about it. Just go outside and look. Look at what God has created. Look at what God has done for you in your life. We got the physical manifestations of it, and we've got just the thing, the blessings that He's given you. Spiritual blessings, mental blessings. It's awesome. He's awesome in his doing toward the Son of Men. He turned the dry sea into dry land. We went through the river. We went through the river on foot. There we will rejoice in him. He rules by his power forever. Remember that big thing he did? Remember when he saved us? Oh, bless our God, you peoples, and make the voice of his praise to be heard, who keeps our soul among the living and does not allow our feet to be moved. For you, O God, have tested us. You have refined us as silver is refined. You brought us into the net. You laid affliction on our backs. You have caused men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but you brought us out to rich fulfillment. Gosh, it was kind of like what Emmanuel was talking about earlier. We always, what he described to him with the screwing up and coming back and screwing up and God showing us grace and all that stuff. That's this whole verse group right here. Put it into Discord, Nernath. By the way, how's it going, Nernath? Always good to see you. You refined us as silver is refined. You have brought us into the net, laid affliction on our backs. Beautiful thing of talking about how, I've brought you into a level of understanding of God. We are a refined people. And yet, through our own actions, we have caused affliction on our backs, for caused him to lay affliction on our backs and men to ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, but you brought us out to rich fulfillment. There was some grumbling, some stiff-necked and stubborn people behavior in the Exodus, during the Exodus. But there was a lot of faith as well. Moses was a great example of that. I will go into your house with burnt offerings. I will pay you my vows, which my lips have uttered, and my mouth has spoken when I was in trouble. I will offer you burnt sacrifices of fat animals with the sweet aroma of rams. I will offer bulls with goats. Selah. Man, this is barbecue, guys. Don't let any vegan try to wave the Bible at you as a reason not to eat meat. It is an aroma pleasing to the Lord. The food was given to the priests. It's meant for you. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm going in. I'm going to pay my respects. I'm going to pay my dues. It's the least I can do. And my mouth, which my lips have uttered and my mouth has spoken when I was in trouble. We've been. How many of us has been there? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Vows that my lips uttered and my mouth spoke when I was in trouble. Been there. God, just get me out of this. Just get me out of this. I was talking. So, father-in-law lives with us, right? He's a big sports fan. Me and him get along so well. He he's not a Brock Purdy fan. I don't know why. He's a strong believer. And but I was, I was like, dude, that's like Purdy is open about his faith and he does not care who knows about it. He has started interviews thanking God. And CJ Stroud for the Texans apparently has recently been doing this as well. It's good to see people of faith speaking openly about it, especially with a media that may not be friendly to that messaging. But you know, we were after the Packers Niners game. He was like, oh, he's looking at us like, hey, he goes, he better be in church tomorrow. I was like, he goes to church he goes, better go to church twice then. I'm sure there might have been a time where Purdy was praying like, give me the strength to lead this team through this. Give me the strength. Sometimes we've been in pretty petty situations where we were asking for God to get us out of messes, maybe of our own creation, maybe a speeding ticket or something like that. Other times it's very serious. Maybe we have a kid that's hurt. Maybe we have a parent who's not doing well. We have a friend who has lost their way. It's there are times where we pray out. It's like, look, God, just do something for this person, and I'll find a way to make it up to you. Man, the hubris, it's being vulnerable, and it's not from a place of disrespect. But you gotta think, just ask, and continue to try to be thankful and give back, because you can't make it up, whatever he does. Emmanuel says it's like Chris Pratt or the Jack Reacher actor demonized because of faith. You know, maybe. The Jack Reacher actor, he's got his things. Chris Pratt has, I feel like, and this is just me, maybe I'm being overly critical. I like Chris Pratt. I think or at least I like how he presents on screen, how he carries himself in his day-to-day life, it seems. But I think that he should be a bigger champion of faith than he is. He has got a huge platform. He has got the ability to tell people to preach or to share the good news in a pretty impactful way. But he goes to because Nernath said he's a Hollywood Christian. They go to the same weird church. I think Chris Pratt is a Hillsong attendee or a Elevation or Bethel. I think he goes to one of the big mega churches that have some very weird theology, but still somebody brought this up. There's a guy on Twitter, Samuel Say, who says, I was brought to God by somebody who has terrible theology, but they brought me in and got me started to a point, and I took that momentum and sent myself down a path where I realized that they didn't understand that they were wrong in a lot of the things that they believed and were preaching, and I left that to go further pursue a better relationship with God. But I will always be thankful for them getting me started. He was hilarious in Park and Recreation. Oh, I loved him. That's what I said. And I was talking about this actually last night. I was talking about Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills, reminds me for some reason of Chris Pratt whenever I see him, and I mean, he just looks like a likable, affable dude. So said, yeah. Alex says, yeah, Elevation is a Zoomer church here. It's a they got some issues. Emmanuel says, all I know is from my periphery. I remember Elevation just opening up. They became a big church. Oh, they're huge. Like most. All right, so Elevation's non-denominational evangelical church, very much in line with me as a non-denominational Protestant. We're all non-denominational Protestants. I'm a non-denom, but and a lot of the worship music that you hear in a lot of non-denom churches, and even in some Baptist churches and some other churches that have got contemporary Christian music, comes from Elevation. Elevation and Hillsong and Bethel are praise and worship music factories. But there's a lot of but because they are so wildly popular, there have been some corruption, big time corruption problems, and they have had a very difficult time um, keeping it in check. Non-denoms, they don't know what we are. I know what I'm not, Nernav. Don't come in here. Don't come at me like that. I know what I'm not. I'm not denominational. I know that I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Come at me. Test me. But he's talking about when my mouth is spoken, I've pay you with my vows with my which are lips of other. My mouth is spoken when I was in trouble. I will offer you burnt sacrifices of fat animals with the sweet aroma of rams. I will offer bulls and goats. I am going to make good how I can what promises. This is the same David. I think it was David. Might have been Solomon. Hang on. We'll find out. We'll find out. Ah, the sunset. Yeah, yeah, the threshing floor. Here we go. So, all right, as an example of what David's kind of referring to this is probably after the fact, but who knows? I can't. We don't know when he wrote this, but this is an example of where kind of David is in his head. David made two real big mistakes: the the Bathsheba and Uriah incident, and then the census. So the census has happened. His people are being struck down as a result. This is something he did, and Gad. So altar on the threshing floor. And Gad came that day to David and said to him, "Go up, erect an altar to the Lord on the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite." So David, according to the word of Gad, who was prophet, being, telling him, went up to the Lord as commanded. Now, Araunah, I don't know how to say these names. Araunah, it's called Araunah, looked and saw the king and his servants coming towards him. So Araunah went out and bowed before the king with his face to the ground. And then Araunah said, "Why has my lord the king come to this servant?" And David said, "To buy the threshing floor from you, to build an altar to the Lord, that the plague may be withdrawn from the people." Now, Araunah said to David, "Let my lord the king take and offer up whatever seems good to him. Look, here are oxen for a burnt sacrifice, and threshing implements, and the yokes of the oxen for wood. All these, O king, Araunah has given to the king." And Araunah the kid said to the king, "May the Lord accept your God accept you." He goes, "Oh, this is for the Lord? You can have it. Not only that, you can have these oxen, and you can have these tools and all in these supplies." which was beautiful. And then, Godspeed on your journey, on your mission, your built in your instructions to the works you're going to do for God, which was selfless and good for Araunah. But that wasn't the point. Then the king said to Araunah, "No, but I will surely buy it from you for a price. Nor will I offer burnt offerings to the Lord my God, that which costs me nothing." So David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. And David built there an altar to the Lord and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. So the Lord heeded the prayers for the land, and the plague was withdrawn from Israel. That's the part. David said, and what a moving gesture to just say, "Look, you can have it." But David said, "No, I can't." Because then there's no sacrifice for me on my part. I've done nothing. I've just taken what you've given and just passed it on. It has to come from me. I made the mistake. I have to make do. I am the one who caused this. I am the one who had to choose the punishment for our nation for the things that I did. I can't just let it be you. That's what that's the kind of man he is. And that's what he's talking. That's kind of an example of what he's talking about. "Come and hear, all you who fear God, and I will declare what he has done for my soul. I cried to him with my mouth, and he was extolled with my tongue. If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear. But certainly God has heard me. He has attended to the voice of my prayer." Mexican food's making me thirsty. Um, yeah. Come listen, people. I'll tell you why it's important. I'll tell you how God has blessed me in my life, and he has been there for me when I've been in trouble, when I times where I've gotten myself in trouble, times when other people have been after me. Does not matter. I have opened up to him. I've been vulnerable with him, and I have praised him to the ends of the earth. And if there was darkness in my heart, I would keep it from him, because that's not how I go up. That's not how you go about talking to the Lord. But he has heard me, and he has listened to me. And blessed be God, who has not turned away from my prayer, nor his mercy from me. Matt Felty said, "I appreciate Elevation both in message and worship." Emmanuel said, "I remember Elevation growing fast in the early 2010s, as well as Hillsong." And Steve said, "Believe in Jesus, not religion. Religion seems to shape their ways. Not everything they do is biblical." Well, that's where they get a whole lot of disagreements. But at the same time, Christianity, theology does provide guardrails, which we need. Because if we go back and we look at, or helps enforce guardrails, God set up the guardrails of what he wants us to do. And he established them in the Old Testament. Jesus kind of defined them more bluntly for us, I guess, or kind of reinforced that they were there. And Paul kind of shaped took what God instructed him to do as far as shaping them for an organized Christianity. Now, have some groups, some thoughts, some different denominations screwed up some of those guardrails? Yeah. Do we not always practice what we preach? Of course. A church full of imperfect people is going to do imperfect things. We're not going to get it right all the time. There are some churches who are incredibly, like I said, the ELCA is a great example. Incredibly lost in some of the things that they believe and do, because they want to listen to people more than they want to listen to God. But a good church that obeys Scripture has those guardrails well set, and I think that that's important because it helps centers us instead of letting us float around and doing whatever. That's why I'm a small church guy. I'm not a big church guy. I'm a non-denominational guy, but I'm find a good church with people honestly, earnestly trying to do what God wants, not what they want, helping their fellow man out, holding each other accountable, lifting each other up when they're down, not leaving people back out in the dust and out in the cold. So, all right, I am well past my my Mexican food window. Alex Moore said this has been a good read tonight. It has been fantastic. It's always good to get to get praise out and talked about. So there you have it. So Matt Felty, Alex Moore, Steve Hawley, Manuel Osorio, Nernath. I think I said Alex already. Yeah, I said Alex. Dad the Man. Alias. Jenny. Nico. Dresden. I think I saw text in Italian in here somewhere. I just skipped over him. Yeah, Alex said, yeah, I'm pulling into work. You were late. All right, well, I'll catch you on Blaine's stream if he's got one. Alex. Dad, all you guys, thank you for all the things you do as far as bringing your thoughts in the chat, bringing your experiences, bringing your opinions. I love it. Thank you for giving me something to speak on and to kind of spice up the commentary I have on what we're talking about with other people's perspective. Manuel says, always good to learn from everyone. Good stream. Now, excuse me while I listen to Night Lords. Exact opposite of what we learned. But yeah, thank you guys for being a wonderful audience and a wonderful chat. To everybody who has been listening but unable or not wanting to be part of the chat, understand. I always encourage you to be there. Love to hear from you, but be honest with you, I'm just glad that you have something that you can tune in and listen to and enjoy night in and night out. To everybody catching this on replay, sorry I missed you, but thank you for tuning in. I hope to catch you sometime live sometime soon. With that said, everybody have a good night and God bless.